Everyone treats summer like it owes you happiness. Long days, pool parties, your best life on a loop. So what does it mean when you feel worse? The summer blues are real. It's why summer is one of the busiest stretches of the year for people starting therapy. Therapy is not only for when you're in crisis. Growth therapy is for all the moments when you decide you want more. More support, more clarity, more tools. Mental health isn't a destination you reach. It's something you build, and Grow makes that easier. Grow connects you with thousands of high-quality licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. The therapist you want takes your insurance on Grow. Grow accepts over 125 insurance plans. Sessions average $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/booknow today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/booknow. growtherapy.com/booknow. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Hey, listen, I don't want any food, but I need you to tell me, have you seen Jolene hanging around? Because if you do, tell her me and Dolly are coming.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here with Jamie. It has been a hard week.
It's been rough, man. It's I talked to somebody in Tennessee the other day, and I was like, wait, isn't the entire state shut down? I feel like it should be.
Yeah, I saw a post today by a friend of mine, and it really does fit. And that is, everyone from Tennessee has lost what would be like a grandmother.
Right.
So leave us alone.
Yeah, I get it. We're going to honor her the true crime way today. She never committed a crime. Dolly never did anything wrong.
If everybody lived like Dolly, there would be no more true crime podcasts. And I'm not joking when I say that. I saw another TikTok today in honor of her that said if she really wanted to, she could have been a billionaire, but she chose, instead of reinvesting her money, to invest it in others. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we do, let's go to West Virginia. What say you?
Yeah, I've never been there. I'm just kidding. Yes, I've been to West Virginia, one of the many states that borders Kentucky, and a lot of similarities in some ways.
Yeah, that's true. So let's see. We're going to go to West Virginia. Dolly was supposed to go to West Virginia to perform in a show that was canceled. So she was going to perform in a little town called Wheeling, West Virginia. She was supposed to play at a jamboree called the WWVA Jamboree, West Virginia Wheelers Association. I don't know what it stands for. I never could find it. But Dolly Parton was scheduled to perform 2 sold-out shows at the Jamboree on Saturday, March 27th, 1976.
That was 50 years and change ago.
I was not even thought of. So at the time, she was the Country Music Association's Female Vocalist of the Year. In the morning hours, just before the engagement, the overnight disc jockey named Buddy Ray received multiple telephone calls. And one caller asked, "Is this Buddy Ray?" And they went on to say that he was going to kill Dolly Parton during the Saturday night jamboree. And then the caller hung up. He called back moments later and specified that it would happen on the second show from the far left side. And the caller also threatened Ray if he interfered in any way.
That was a lot, John. Let me first jump in and say, if you said, "Hey, Jamie, name a West Virginia radio host," I would have pulled the words Buddy and Ray out of thin air.
I mean,
it's
Buddy Ray and his cousin Billy and his nephew Jimmy Jack.
Bobby Joe. It's this is way before the internet, so this didn't go viral. Not everybody knew about it. You had to be listening to Buddy Ray on the radio to find it out. Buddy Ray called the authorities, and police notified Dolly Parton's people about the threats. When she got to Wheeling on that Saturday night, she was informed of the situation in person. She talked it over with her manager, whose name was Don Warden, and she decided that to be safe, she needed to cancel both performances. She would later say this was the first threat that she had ever received, and I really hope it was the last. I don't think it was. She said
was not.
She was not deeply shaken, but reasoned that continuing to go on could pose a danger to herself, her band, and even the audience. So even if the call turned out to be a bad joke, she went with, better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, so Buddy Ray went ahead. He hosted that event because there were supposed to be a ton of other bands performing. This was not just a Dolly Parton concert. And after the cancellation was announced, there was another call that came into the radio station. This time the caller said, "You tell Buddy Ray that he saved her life." So police were involved, and they got in touch with the telephone company. The call ended up being traced to a local residence there in Wheeling, West Virginia. And on March 29th, 1976, the Wheeling Police Department arrested a local man identified in reporting by Robert Elliott. And they charged him with making threatening telephone calls. And
Bobby Elliott.
Bobby Elliott.
Following a psychiatric evaluation, he was sent to a mental institution.
You don't mess with Dolly and get away with it.
Well, I mean, I think it goes to show that this wasn't a sane person making an idle threat. Like, this person was potentially dangerous.
And if they sent you to a psych ward in the 70s, you were crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It took
in West Virginia
to get in to see a therapist. You had to. It's not as available as it is now. They went on to learn that he had actually been at the shows that night. So there's a chance that he did have plans to do something horrible to Dolly. Dolly left Wheeling and continued on her tour. And looking back, people say that she went back to Wheeling Jamboree later in the year and made it up to the community that time, I guess. But thankfully, we got to keep her for 50 more years after this failed threat or failed attempt.
Yeah, man, this is scary. Like, if you're crazy enough to call in and make this kind of threat, that's one thing. But I don't know. In the 70s, to see a person that was declared mentally insane like this, it had to be pretty bad.
I mean, he probably got lobotomized when he got there. Like, that's what we were doing back then. Let's just stick a nail in the front of your head.
He might not have left that place.
Just think if he had been in Tennessee and threatened Dolly. That's like a sin there. Well, I mean, it's probably a sin anyway. That's like a capital offense.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Dolly Parton, man, she was iconic. She was truly one of a kind, but not the woman to mess with.
I mean, it's been pretty amazing to see the outpouring of love that you've seen come out. I mean, everybody from current country music singers to Miley Cyrus, who she helped raise, to Eminem writing about her, like everybody. She is probably the most unifying person in American history.
Yep. And she could have done anything she wanted, but instead she just gave back.
Yeah, when you said she could have been a billionaire, I thought you were going to say she could have been president.
So, she could have. I really think.
Like,
she just
probably
she didn't
last election.
But the thing about politics, she would have never done that. She was asked questions all the time about political candidates or what her beliefs were, and she was just like, I'm not going there. Yep. I'm an entertainer. That's what I'm talking about.
And she did, and she loved and supported everybody. So, yeah, never knew about this story, John. I don't think it's really well known, but we got to keep Dolly around for a while, and I think we got another Dolly story coming your way after the break. Let's get out of West Virginia, though.
So, Jamie, back in 2017, there was a pretty massive fire that swept through Gatlinburg. It destroyed dozens, if not hundreds, of homes, and it was devastating. And you can still drive through Gatlinburg today, 8 years later almost, and see the effects of this.
Yeah, I mean, homes, businesses, people died in these fires. It was horrific. I mean, obviously the fires took up a lot of forests and homes, like I said, but even the smoke damage to the area, and it was a horrible time for this community. And if you've never been to East Tennessee, if you go to the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area, it's basically all a Dolly festival. There's Dollywood there, but everything, there's Dixie Stampede that I think is just Stampede now, but there's everything is full of love from Dolly.
I bet there are so many attractions that are owned by Dolly that we'll just never know about.
Right.
You mentioned Dollywood. Of course, Dollywood also has the huge water park now.
Yep.
They have like a hotel that is connected to the park now, and you can stay at the resort and then get a ride to the park. It has grown like crazy. You mentioned the Stampede. I'm almost certain that she owns a couple other dinner shows in the area.
She does, yeah.
But when this fire broke out, I mean, this is Dolly's backyard. This is where she was queen for sure.
This is a huge tourist destination. I don't think we can overstate the damage that was done. Like, this was devastating to the area.
Yeah. I mean, we were supposed to be on vacation there when this broke out, and they told us not to come because it could very well not be there anymore. So this was huge. And Dolly, being the woman that she was, she couldn't just watch all this unfold in her town and then not help. So she started a campaign to raise money for the, victims of this awful fire. And it was called the Dolly Parton's My People Fund. And it was established to aid victims of the fire. I said 2017, it was 2016, but it was late November of 2016. And what this fund did, man, it was crazy. For every household that was affected by this fire, if you lost your home, this fund would give you $1,000 a month until you were back on your feet. So this was just an amazing charitable donation that she wanted to do, but people gonna people.
Yeah, it's tough to think about somebody getting in a person's way who is trying to help people. I also love just the name of this fund, because I could totally see her being like, I need to help. Well, who are you going to help? She's like, I'm going to help my people. Let's just call it that and go with it. That's how I picture this whole thing going down.
That's probably exactly how it happened.
So if
you put on a wig, I mean.
Me? I don't think I got the other parts. By the middle of 2017, this fund had helped roughly 900 families and had contributed about $9 million in aid to folks in Sevier County. In September of that year, a grand jury returned, and they brought sealed presentations that were later unsealed, but there were 5 people in this indictment that were charged in connection with a conspiracy to defraud the My People Fund. Deborah K. Catlett, her son Chad Allen Chambers, Rocco Basilia, Amy Lyons, and Esther Pridemore.
Yeah, according to the indictments, these people were charged for trying to get money from this My People Fund, and they were doing so illegally. They were frauding My People Fund. So they were somehow Sevier County maintained a database of rental cabins. If you're ever in the area, there are probably thousands of cabins in the top of the woods that are rental cabins. So there was a database of these, and a lot of these burned down. So the prosecution alleged that Chambers was the primary organizer of the scheme, and the group allegedly identified cabins that had burned. They created and forged leases using the owners' names and obtained temporary driver's license. They then presented those documents to the My People Fund as proof that they had been displaced by the fires. None of the 5 were actually impacted by the wildfires, so 2 of them did not even live in Sevier County, and one of them was in jail at the time of the fires.
Records indicated that the group collected about $12,000 before they were finally caught in this scheme, and that's $12,000 that at the time wasn't going to people that really needed it. Dollywood Foundation president David Dotson stated that administrators started to get suspicious basically from the temporary driver's licenses because they did not look legit, and they stopped accepting those as proof of the displacement. So they were busted because they had cheap fake IDs. The charges included money laundering, criminal conspiracy, and felony theft. There was a sixth person brought in, Candy Joy Jeffries Brocagulio. So
That's not a Sevier County name. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Not from around here. Later indicted in a related matter, prosecutors alleged that she conspired with another individual to obtain about $10,000 more from the fund through false applications and faced separate charges involving forgery and other offenses.
Yeah, this investigation was led by the Gatlinburg Police Department. There was a detective, Rodney Burns, who was at the center of this. And what's crazy, man, is I have tried to find the outcome of this case, and there's nothing. Nothing is publicly available. I'm thinking that these people felt so shamed that they had defrauded not only the people of Sevier County, but Dolly herself. I'm assuming, all jokes aside, that they pled guilty and probably had, some kind of deal where they paid restitution and faced a small amount of jail time. But I don't know for sure what their convictions and or sentences look like. This went away quietly.
Now, I know we love Dolly and we've been praising her. I think she had the power and influence to just have these people disappear. I'm not saying that happened,
but I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think Dolly, in all honesty, could have had them put away for as long as Dolly wanted. But I think Dolly probably was asked, what would you like to do? And I think being Dolly, the saint that she is, probably just said, you know what, punish them, but make this go away quietly.
And we talk about some horrible things here on True Crime Cast, and most of them are very unforgivable, but the things that these people went through when they lost their homes and their properties to defraud them, and then somebody doing as much good in the world, no matter how hateful you are, seeing somebody like Dolly do as much good as she did and trying to take advantage of it takes a special kind of evil.
I'm purely speculating, but go with me on this. I would imagine that the way this all came about, because relatively speaking, $12,000 in what was available was not a ton of money.
Right.
But because they were using the names of the real owners, I would imagine that when the real owners tried to file a legit claim, they were probably told there's already a claim in process.
Yeah, very possible.
So it was probably very easy to track down these people and make the arrests. That's only my thought. I could be completely wrong, but
yeah, they don't seem like the brightest crayons in the kitchen drawer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
You do know what I mean. But yeah,
they are real Jolenes,
right?
Yeah,
trying to get her man. No, it's certainly a sad time to lose Dolly. I'm glad we talked about her quite a bit over on Bless Their Hearts yesterday, but from the day this comes out, but to be able to bring it here, I don't know, just warms my heart up a little bit to show that she continued to do good even when people were threatening her life and stealing from her.
Yep. That's Dolly. That's Dolly.
That's Dolly. And this has been, a very sad week, but glad we could honor her in this way. And that was 2 Dolly stories in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crime Cast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.